Take a deep breath if you keep putting important things off and then beating yourself up for it. Hear this gently. You're not lazy. You're not broken. And you're not doomed to stay this way. Most of the time, procrastination isn't a character flaw. It's a lack of clarity, too much inner pressure, and a starting point that feels heavier than it needs to be. Today, I'm going to guide you through a simple, biblical, and human way to stop procrastinating. No shouting, no humiliation, no empty motivation lines. Just practical direction you can apply even on tired days. Stay with me through both parts, because I'll give you a short reset ritual that unlocks your body and mind in minutes, plus a 7-day challenge that changes your pattern without crushing you. I'll also show you how procrastination shows up in your finance. When you avoid looking at your money, avoid organizing, avoid deciding, and how to reverse that with peace and consistency. Before any technique, remember this. You don't have to win the whole month today. You only have to win the next step. Here's a truth that changes everything. Procrastination is often emotional protection. Your brain is trying to save you from an uncomfortable feeling. Failing, shame, uncertainty, confusion, exhaustion, pressure to be perfect. So it pushes you towards something that gives quick relief. Scrolling, short videos, your phone, random small tasks, snacking, or telling yourself later. Then a painful cycle begins. You delay, you feel guilty, you try to fix it by pressuring yourself. You freeze even more, and you end the day heavy. The problem isn't that you lack ability. The problem is that you're trying to solve with force what must be solved with structure. The Bible is far more practical than many people think. It talks about building your house on rock. Rock means foundation. Foundation isn't your mood for the day. Foundation is habit. It's what you do when no one is watching. It's what you repeat when no one applauds. So today, we're going to break the delay and shame cycle and replace it with a new one. Clarity, small step, consistency, peace. I'm going to ask you 2 simple questions. If you answer honestly, half the block will already loosen. First question, what is the most important thing you are delaying right now? Not a list one thing. The main one. The main one. Second question, what do you feel when you think about doing it? Fear, pressure, boredom, tiredness, confusion, shame, the feeling that it's too big. Here's the secret. You're not running from the task. You're running from the feeling the task triggers. And when you see that, you stop hating yourself and you start leading yourself. Now listen closely. I'm going to give you 7 keys. You don't have to apply all of them today. You only need to choose one and begin. And I'll tell you up front, the 4th key is the turning point, because it creates an automatic start when you feel stuck. Key 1, bring it into the light. Complete these 2 sentences. I'm delaying underscore. I'm delaying because I feel underscore. Maybe it's fear of failure. Maybe it won't be good enough. Maybe it's confusion, fatigue, shame. The feeling that it's too big. Name it with honesty. This is powerful because what stays hidden grows, but what is brought into the light loses power. And there's a simple biblical principle here. Truth sets you free. When you tell yourself the truth, you take the steering wheel back. Now a question worth gold. Is what you're delaying truly a priority, or is it just noise? Some things feel heavy because they matter. Other things feel heavy because you're carrying too much at once. Key 2. Choose one real priority at a time. The human mind can't handle 10 priorities without fog, and fog leads to escape. So keep it simple. Pick one main priority for today, and at most 2 smaller ones. Everything else is bonus. That's not laziness. That's order. And order creates peace. God is a God of order. Order isn't rigidity. Order is clarity. If you don't choose, the world will choose for you. And when the world chooses, you spend your life putting out fires instead of building your future. Key 3. Shrink the task into a ridiculously small next step. You don't need to finish. You only need to start. And starting doesn't mean doing a lot. Starting means opening the door. If you need to study, the step is not to ours. The step is opened a page and read a small part. If you need to work, the step is not solve everything. The step is create the file and write the title. If you need to exercise, the step is not an hour. The step is put on your shoes. If you need to organize your finances, the step is not become an expert. The step is open your bank app and look calmly. Remember this line. You only need courage for the first 60 seconds. Once you start, your body realizes, oh, that's it. The wait was in anticipation, not in the action. Now comes key 4, the turning point, the automatic start. Most people lose because they wait for motivation, but motivation is often a result, not a requirement. You will create motivation with a short ritual that unlocks your body and mind. Here's how it works. First, align your body. Sit simply. Relax your shoulders. Breathe deeply a few times. Second, clear your surface. Remove what doesn't belong to the task. You're not cleaning the whole house, you're creating mental space. Third, write 3 lines. The task is underscore. The next step is underscore. If I only do this today, it's enough. Fourth, set a short timer. 10 or 15 minutes. That's Italiano. Fifth, begin with a small step. The goal is not massive output. The goal is breaking the ice, because once the ice breaks, your mind can breathe again, and this matters. When the timer ends, you are allowed to stop without shame. Yes, without shame. Because right now you are building consistency, not intensity. You are training identity. You are becoming someone who starts. In part 2, I'll show you how to keep this working even on bad days. Because the biggest enemy of consistency is not tiredness, it's the all-or-nothing mindset. You do one good day, file day next, call yourself a failure, and quit. That ends today. Key 5. Environment beats motivation. If your environment pulls you into distraction, you will lose daily and assume the problem is you. Often the problem is access. You don't need to be stronger. You need to be wiser. Place your phone far away during focus. Close tabs and apps that don't belong to the task. Keep only what you need on the table. Reduce notifications. If your distraction is food, don't keep it next to you. If your distraction is short videos, remove the shortcuts and triggers. Your environment disciples you quietly. It shapes you without permission. So build an environment that nudges you toward what is good. Key 6. Short focus and repetition. Use a simple method. Short focus, short break, repeat. Instead of trying to marathon productivity, you build small wins. And small wins build confidence. During focus, one task, one intention. When the urge to escape appears, don't negotiate. Who's delay it later. During the break, water, breathe, return. Here's a deep biblical principle applied to daily life. Faithfulness in little things. It's not about doing a lot once. It's about doing a little consistently. In part 2, I'll teach you how to win bad days without abandoning the path. How to break perfectionism. How to apply this directly to money, and I'll give you the rule that changes consistency the most. The don't break twice rule. Then I'll finish with a complete 7-day challenge you can actually follow. If you made it this far, you already did something many people don't do. You stayed. And that's a sign of change. Now let's close the loop and turn this into real consistency, the kind that changes your life from the inside out. Let me recap the core quickly. Procrastination isn't just laziness. It's emotional protection. And the cure is not pressure. The cure is clarity. A small next step, the right environment, and repetition. Now I'll show you how to sustain this on bad days. Real life includes tiredness, anxiety, surprises, and heavy moments. Here's the key that solves half the problem. Consistency is not never failing. Consistency is never abandoning. Some people think, if I miss a day, it's over. Then they quit. But wisdom works differently. Wisdom says, a bad day doesn't define my path. Return. So here's a simple 3-level plan for days that don't feel good. Plan A. You do your short focus session the right way. Plan B. You do only 10 minutes after the automatic start ritual. Plan C. You do the minimum step for 2 minutes. Yesto minutes. Because the goal on bad days is not performance, the goal is protecting identity, keeping the thread of consistency alive, staying the kind of person who doesn't run from themselves. Now let's deal with a silent enemy that keeps many people stuck: perfectionism. Perfectionism is procrastination in a suit. It looks like excellence, but it's often fear disguised. The person says, I want to do it well, but underneath they're saying, if it's not perfect, I'll feel inadequate. So they avoid starting. Here's the antidote. Done. 10. Improve it. Simple today. Better later. Adjust on the way. Instead of, I'll build the perfect budget, say, I'll build a simple budget today and review it on Sunday. Instead of, I'll start when I'm ready, say, I'll start to become ready. Instead of, when I feel inspired, I'll do it. Say, I'll do it to generate inspiration. There's a clear biblical principle here. Seeds. God works through seeds. A seed doesn't become a tree in one day, but it grows when you don't quit the process. Now I'll give you the rule that increases consistency the most, because it creates a guardrail against quitting. Don't break twice. If you miss a day, okay. No drama. No self-hate. You simply return the next day. But don't miss 2 days in a row, because 2 misses become a pattern. A pattern becomes identity, and identity becomes destiny. This rule is simple, but it's powerful. It protects your trajectory. Now I want to teach you a method that unlocks you quickly because it identifies your type of block. Primera, cael, ete 3 locks. Lock 1. The confusion lock. You want to start, but you don't know where. Your mind turns foggy and escapes. Cure. Write 1 line. The next step is underscore. And if you still don't know, choose the smallest possible step. Open, list, look, separate. The first step doesn't have to be smart. It only has to exist. Lock 2. The perfection lock. You think you must be fully ready, high energy, confident, and perfectly prepared. Cure. Done. Then improved. Version 1 today. Refinement later. Lock 3. The emotion lock. You feel pressure and you run to distraction for relief. Cure. The automatic start ritual plus a short timer. You don't solve your whole life. You do 10 minutes, and 10 minutes repeated changes. More than one perfect day that never arrives. Now let's apply this to the niche of this channel. Faith builds wealth, money, peace, and biblical wisdom. Here's something many people live, but rarely admit. Financial procrastination is quiet fear. You avoid looking at your money because it triggers anxiety. You avoid organizing because you feel shame. You avoid deciding because you think it's too late. You avoid conversations because you fear conflict. And while you avoid it, the anxiety grows. So here is a gentle 3-step cure. Simple, not crushing. First step, face reality with peace. Seeing is not condemnation. Seeing is direction. You're not looking to punish yourself. You're looking to lead yourself. Second step, 1 small act of order. Choose 1. List your fixed bills. Cancel 1 subscription. Create a due date reminder. Set aside a symbolic amount for savings, or write down your main spending categories. 1 small act. Real order, even small, creates peace over time. Third step, light repetition. Pick 1 day of the week. Sunday works well, and do 15 minutes of money organization. Just 15 minutes. 15 minutes a week, consistently, changes your year. Because stewardship is slow construction, and here is a biblical principle many people forget. Managing is spiritual. If you are faithful in little, you train your heart. And if you don't have peace with little, you won't have peace with much. Biblical prosperity isn't only a number. It's inner stability. It's order. It's responsibility. It's generosity with wisdom. It's peace. Now, let's turn all of this into a 7-day plan. If you do this with sincerity, you'll feel real change. Because you'll leave the promise and fail cycle and enter the start and continue cycle. Day 1. Choose one priority and do the automatic start ritual. Day 2. Do one short focus cycle and finish with a minimum step. Day 3. Adjust your environment with one simple change that reduces distraction. Day 4. Do the minimum step, even if it feels too small. Day 5. Apply to money with 15 minutes of order. Day 6. Repeat short focus and do a simple review. What worked and why? Day 7. Write one identity line. I am a person who starts with peace. I am faithful in small things. I return when I miss a day. Let me close with a truth that puts your heart in the right place. You don't need a perfect life. You need an aligned life. And alignment doesn't come from one heroic day. Alignment comes from small decisions repeated. When you take one step, you break fear. When you repeat, you build character. And when you build character, you gain the structure to carry what you've been praying for. So today take the next step. Only the next one. And if you stayed until here, comment. My minimum step is, and write what you will do today. I want to read and reply with direction. Subscribe to Faith Builds Wealth, because here we talk about money and life with truth, peace, and biblical principles. No aggression, no shame, just a real path. May God give you clarity, gentle strength, and consistency, one step at a time.